Hello everybody. So this video is to make up for one that I did that was a complete fail. I want to do it successfully before I show the fail, if that makes sense at all. So I have my Crafter's Companion Harmony water reactive dyes, green topaz, straw bale, and winter rose. I have this set from Diamond Press, and I'm just going to use these two little stamps right here. Okay, that's that. I'm going to use, is this a wind pigment? Yes. This opaque pigment, Harmony ink in pink tulip. And for the embossing powders, I have gold and yellow. And no, I'll just keep it to the two, the gold and the yellow. But I do want to do more than one color. And this is the Crafter's Companion multi-purpose paper. Since the last one was a fail, I thought I'm going to stick with other stuff. I had to fight the Diamond Press inks to get them to blend good and show up. And not all the colors. The one color didn't want to show up. I couldn't see my watermark because I had started with my watermark. I couldn't see that. I thought these embossing powders should show over. So if I use this pink tulip, hopefully we can see it. At least better than the watermark anyways. So I'm just going to start, I should start with my lightest color first, which is the straw bale. And what I did was just laid color down and not worrying about if it's splotchy or even or any of that. Just laying it down. Just getting color on. Not worrying about leaving white spots because I'm going to come in with the other colors also. That green topaz may be way too dark for this, but to go with the straw bale, we'll see. We will find out. Hopefully we don't end up with a ton of brown. I don't mind a little bit of brown on it, but I don't want a ton of brown. I tried waiting to do this video for tweets to calm down and quiet down, and they're reseeding outside on the golf course. And that just has tweets all worked up. This one hasn't been opened yet. Okay, so I'm just going to come in, put some of that winter rose on here. Just kind of all over. I'm just kind of blending, trying to blend better here. Now the green topaz, this is the one I'm a little worried about being a little dark. So with this one, I'm gonna tap off and then come in. Not too bad. But I am tapping it off just to keep it from getting too strong. Looks bad. We're not done. We're gonna go back over it. We're gonna add more color in. Then we're gonna deepen some of these colors. We're just gonna go back over. And that's just gonna intensify the colors. It should. Doing layers should give us, and we'll end up with some more blending going on, of course, because now we'll be overlapping colors. Really, I shouldn't be putting my fingers on it, but I always do. They always tell you to protect your fingers. And I'm not worried if I need to come in another time, one more time. It's something, you know, when you're doing this blending and stuff, you want to be patient because you want to do your layering nice. I think with this one, I might also tap off a little bit and just I don't want too much brightness going on. I don't want one color to come in and overtake the rest of them. Right? Okay. Is it looking better? Looks better, right, than it did the first time? We just have to be careful with the green because the green mixing, especially with the pink, well, the green with the pink is very possibly going to give us the, I need this over here, the brown. And I don't mind a little bit of brown, but I don't want to get too much brown going on. I really don't. So the green with the yellow is just going to give us a lighter green. But the green and that pink, the rose color, could give us brown. Maybe a little green in there. Just looking for spots that looks like it needs a little more. I think I'm going to come back. Now I'm going to work the other way, and I'm going to come in with this rose color. So if you're wondering why would she be working backwards now? They always say go light to dark. Well, I'm going to come in with the yellow now, and I'm really going to blend everything together with it. That is my thought. right. Now, let's hope this works. Let's see. Let's see the transformation now, because everything, I'm hoping, just kind of will blend together using the yellow, well, the straw bale, the lightest color. And it's the one that more than likely is going to be able to blend with everything. And I'm not getting brown from it. But it should make our blend just a little bit smoother looking is what I'm kind of hoping for. Now it's a background. Does it need to be perfect? No, because more than likely it's going to be covered by something else, right? Maybe we want to tone that green down a little bit, so I'm just going to add that yellow in there. Somehow, where I thought it would be turning brown, it's almost kind of going a little bit of a violet-y, so maybe it's the topaz part of the green with the pink. I don't know. There's just a couple of little tiny spots. Okay, so it still looks like a bit much, but remember, it's a background. So it's going to be covered up by stuff. And I've seen some things people have used for backgrounds and thought, oh my goodness, you have got to be kidding me. You are not really going to be using that. And they do, and it turns out beautiful. Okay, so now I need to make sure that this, because I'm ready, to start the stamping and embossing process, I need to be sure that my embossing powder is not going to stick to these inks. That's why I use the water reactive. Now, the last one I didn't use this, but really the embossing powder didn't really stick, and I used the diamond press ones. But this time, because I did have problems last time, this time I'm just going to be a little more careful. And I'm just going to make sure that I use the embossing buddy here. Okay. I need a stamping block. Okay. That's pretty big, huh? Now, I was going to use two of the embossing colors at the same time. This time I decided, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to choose a color for each one. They're going to have their own color. So this one, I think, because they have green and like a brown, I'm going to do this one in the gold. And I'll do the other one in the yellow. Now remember, when you use a rocket block, if you get the ink on these rails here, you have to take that off, or you'll get that ink on your paper. Luckily with this, I don't have to worry. I can see my whole stamp is covered, and I can see the image. Now, one of the things I was worried about was, did I wait too long to emboss? I might have. We will find out right now. Some of these I want to go over the edge. Okay. Now I'm going to come in. I have my sheet to go underneath. And I'm going to pour the gold on. Look at what it did. So even with the embossing buddy, see, the other one didn't do it this bad. And you'll see that when I post that video. So I guess even with the embossing buddy, you gotta dry that paper. And it will be dry after the next time, or after this time, for the next time, because I'm gonna use my heat gun. This is a mess. So make sure you bring your heat gun in and dry it off before. Even if you use your embossing buddy. Well, yesterday was not my day. And for everything yesterday, not just crafting stuff. Nothing, everything, nothing was going right yesterday. Like even where I brushed it, it's staying there. Which is a shame. I should have just dried it. I wondered if this was going to happen. And I thought, well, let's just see. Asked and answered. That was not part of the stamp, even though it looked good. Oh, this could take forever. Is it worth it, or do I start over? I might have erased some of them. Oh my goodness. The thing is, when this stuff starts to melt, even though it just looks dusty, it will look bigger. It will. All these little specks. Will look bigger. I don't know if I can get the curly Q back. All right, wait. Let's try this. Let me just get rid of all of it. And we'll just do it over. And if you can see the pink, that's okay. It's a background. Oh yeah, this will be better. And I'll just go ahead and dry it with the heat gun. And we can just stamp over. Yeah, that's a better idea than trying to fix this and it's not gonna look good. Actually, that pink looks kind of pretty there, so that's all right. Okay, so now this has to get poured back in the container. I want to get all of that off there that I can because it will leave a speckle. And you'll see if there's any on there, you'll see that in a second. Okay, so let me just make sure this is good and dry. Dry, dry, dry. Watch, you'll see what those speckles do. Okay, that should now be dry. So let's try this over again. And I'm gonna have these pretty little pinks, and that's okay. Oh wait, let me bring back the embossing buddy. Now if it sticks, I don't know. You'll have to come back. Well, can't come back tomorrow. I won't be here. But maybe later today. Okay. You want some going off the sides. Just, okay. Now let's see what happens. If it sticks, like I said, if it sticks again, I don't know. That was not the problem I had the other day. I'm just kind of trying to get it. See, look, it still did. And some of it wasn't dry enough. So some of the other ones still did. They did lighter. Okay, should I bring the brush back in for this bit? I don't know where that brush. Almost want to just swoosh it all off again, dry it some more, and just, that's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna see what happens. We'll dry it some more. Where I had the major problems along the sides. And then we'll pour it on and see if the embossing, the pigment ink grabs it again. This is really weird to me because I just don't know. Is it the atmosphere in the house? Do you suppose? The other time I had trouble, it was because it didn't want to stick. Now, it's wanting to stick too much. It's a little dusty here. Okay, let's see what happens now. Let's try it again. I don't know. It's looking pretty with the stamp. Oh, maybe it was too hot. Maybe I didn't let it cool long enough. That shouldn't be an issue. I stamped it and all that, so there was time. It's not like it's one of the colors. right. I don't know. Let's try and see what happens if we just put the embossing powder on now that I've come in and dried it more. See, this ink should not still be holding it. It should be dry. You see. That ink is not holding it because it's dry now. Some of it's still a little wet. That just amazes me. So we're going to brush it off. We're going to dry it a little bit more, and then we'll do some more stamping. And we're going to get it to work. But it's just a matter of getting it dry enough, I guess. Guess I just didn't have it dry enough. Well, now even the opaque ink is dried, so I can dry it a little bit more. Mostly not just some of these were too wet still, but not the whole image was holding and grabbing the embossing powder. So we're just gonna make sure these are all dried. This one's still got some embossing powder on it. I don't want this part of the image embossed. Even though it was very lightly, when I go to pour more powder on, the embossing powder will stick to embossing powder. All right, let's hope this time. Okay. So I guess the moral of the story is make sure you have it completely dried. That's not the wet, so let's put that there. A little bit there. That didn't really ink, did it? That's okay. All right, let's try this again. We're going to end up with a stamped background, not an embossed background. Much better. Much better. Okay, now I can get some embossing done. So I learned a lesson, and I'll tell you in a minute what I learned. Isn't that gold embossing beautiful? I love it. And I wish I had this one here. Gosh, that gold is pretty. And that with that design, it's really, really pretty. But now it's time to move on to the other shape, the other stamp that I wanted to use. Let me get this one cleaned off. What I learned is to make sure that this cools first enough that this other embossing powder is not going to stick to it. So the first time I did both shapes, well, it was the same stamp. It was one stamp with two stamps on it. So I did it that way, and I was going to do the two colors at the same time, and it didn't look like that was a good idea. So that's when I thought, well, okay, we'll do each shape its own color, even though that might have been more interesting and maybe something that I try later on. For right now, no. That's not. I just want to make this work. I just want to get this to work. I want to make sure that's cool. Okay. So now remember, when you go to emboss again, it's going to reheat these and it may remelt them. So we have to be careful about that. Okay. So this time I'm going to use this yellow. I only have, it's a little bit of yellow, but that's how it came, a little bit like that. And that's okay, because it doesn't take a lot. Honestly, it really does not take a lot. Let's see if this yellow even shows up on here. Okay. Let's see what happens with the yellow now. And I really can't tell what's what here. But I can pour it back and pour it over. See? So if I think, and I do think there's more stamped images on here. That might be it. It looks like that's it. I don't see any more. I didn't use the embossing guy. See, I didn't even know those two had gone together when I stamped it, because it's hard to see that stamp sometimes with these lighter inks. So let's see. So now, instead of looking at the whole page and kind of doing the whole page, my thought is I'm going to the actual spot where the embossing powder is sitting. So let's do that. All right, there it is. So, it's still pretty and I can still use it, but it's not what I was looking for because these littles in the back, and I don't have as many stamped images embossed as I wanted to have. Because these stamped images, I kind of kept those in mind a little bit. Maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe I should have just gone straight over them. Like I could use another gold around here somewhere, and but I will use it. Let's see. I don't know what size I cut this paper. So it's 6. So I could cut it, you know, before, but it gets smaller up here. So here it's a little over 5.5. So it gets a little bit smaller. I would have to straighten it. But for a background, I think it'll work, and we'll have to do one. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead. That embossing right there just doesn't look quite as smooth as the other, but it looks like it's embossed, or it would be gone from me wiping it. It looks like what might have happened is some gold might have got on there and kind of stopped it, but all right. So that's it. Tomorrow, because I'm doing videos now for while I'm going camping, which will be tomorrow till Sunday. So tomorrow, this video will go up. It'll be Friday. So happy Friday, everybody, and I hope everybody has a blessed weekend. If you like my video, please hit the like and subscribe button. Bye-bye, y'all.